Imagine you're just chilling, maybe scrolling your phone or staring blankly into the void, and suddenly, bam! Someone claps behind you, or a loud noise explodes nearby. Your entire body jumps like it just got zapped by an invisible taser. That's your startle reflex kicking in. And honestly, it's the ultimate overachiever of human reactions. This reflex is basically your brain's panic button, wired deep in the ancient parts like the brainstem and amygdala, the emotional headquarters. When you sense a sudden threat, your body reacts faster than you can say, "What the heck?" By making your muscles tense, your heart race, and your eyes widen as if your eyeballs want to escape your skull. It's like your nervous system throws a surprise party for your fight or flight response, only the surprise is trauma. What's weirdly creepy is that this reflex sometimes misfires on the smallest triggers: a balloon popping, your own sneeze, or a cat randomly knocking something off a table. And you look like you're auditioning for a horror movie extra role. In prehistoric times, this reflex was a literal lifesaver, making sure you could jump out of the way before a saber-toothed tiger chomped your face off. Today, mostly just an embarrassing twitch that makes you spill your coffee or drop your phone. But here's the kicker. Some people have a hyperactive startle reflex, known as hyperstartle syndrome, where even a whisper feels like a gunshot. For them, life is basically a never-ending jump scare reel. Your brain's emergency alarm is stuck on loud noise detected, and it refuses to calm down. You can't help but wonder if their ancestors were chased by the worst hunters ever. Basically, this reflex is your nervous system throwing a tantrum in your honor, completely unnecessary 99% of the time, but still somehow crucial to your survival. So next time you jump at a harmless noise, just remember, somewhere deep inside, your ancient brain is still screaming, "Run! Run for your life!" Ever wondered why your skin suddenly looks like a miniature topographical map when you're cold or watching a creepy movie? Those tiny bumps are called piloerection, but don't let the fancy name fool you. This reflex is a leftover from your furrier ancestors, and it's as useless as an umbrella in a hurricane. Back when humans had more hair than a shampoo commercial. These little skin spikes trapped air, creating an insulating layer to keep warm. Kind of like your own personal feather coat. When you're cold or scared, tiny muscles at the base of your hair follicles contract, making each hair stand on end. The result? Goosebumps. But here's the creepy part. Even though we humans have mostly lost our body fur, the goosebumps reflex hasn't gotten the memo. So your skin still tries to fluff up, but with barely any hair, it just looks like you're auditioning for a role as a terrified porcupine. Goosebumps also appear during emotional moments, like when you hear a haunting song or witness an epic sunset. Psychologists say it's your brain's way of mixing survival instincts with emotional signals, a weird crossover episode in your nervous system. It's like your body's saying, "I'm either freezing or deeply moved, but either way, I'm freaking out a little." To put it bluntly, goosebumps are your body's attempt at looking intimidating. Think puffed up cat or angry porcupine, to scare off predators. Except now, the only predator is your roommate asking why you just got chills watching a documentary on sloths. You're at a boring meeting and suddenly, someone yawns. Before you know it, half the room is gasping for oxygen like it's a group therapy session for sleep deprivation. Why does yawning spread so aggressively, like some creepy social contagion? Yawning is one of those weird human glitches that science hasn't fully cracked yet. The oldest theory suggests it helps cool your brain down, like an internal AC unit firing up when things get too hot. But what makes it stranger is its contagious nature. Seeing, hearing, or even thinking about yawning can make you yawn. It's like your brain has a built-in copycat button. Psychologists think contagious yawning is linked to empathy and social bonding. If you can catch someone else's yawn, it means your brain's pretty good at understanding and mimicking others' feelings. But let's be honest, sometimes it just feels like your brain is messing with you. Like a practical joker. It gets creepier. Not everyone catches yawns. People with certain neurological conditions, like autism or schizophrenia, often don't experience contagious yawning. That suggests the reflex might be a glimpse into how our brains connect, or fail to connect, with other humans. So the next time you yawn in a quiet room, know that it's not just boredom, it's your brain's weird, social, slightly creepy way of saying, hey, we're in this tiredness thing together. Or maybe it's just your brain's sneaky method to get you kicked out of awkward conversations faster. Imagine you're walking alone at night and suddenly get that clammy, ice-cold sweat running down your back. No, you're not about to win a horror movie role. It's just your body's creepy way of screaming, danger ahead! This reflex, called diaphoresis if you want to sound smart at parties, is your sympathetic nervous system flipping the switch to full fight-or-flight mode. Your sweat glands go haywire, pumping out sweat not to cool you down this time, but as part of a complex survival cocktail. See, cold sweat isn't about heat. It's your body's way of saying, alert, something scary or stressful is happening. Why? Because back in the day when you were probably running from a predator or dodging a wild spear, breaking out in a cold sweat was like signaling your muscles to get ready for action while confusing the enemy. The slick skin might make you harder to grab, or maybe it just helps your heart race faster and your mind sharpen. Science isn't 100% sure, but it's definitely not your typical I'm hot and sweaty situation. Creepy enough? Here's the twist. Cold sweat can happen in totally safe situations, like during a nightmare, or even when you're stressed about a text you just sent. Your body reacts like you're literally about to be eaten alive by a pack of wolves, even if the only wolf is the group chat blowing up with unread messages. So next time you break into a cold sweat just thinking about that presentation or awkward date, know your primal brain is throwing a full-on panic party. Your body basically believes you're starring in your own survival horror game, whether you like it or not. Blinking, seemingly the most normal, boring thing you do, actually has a dark and surprisingly aggressive origin story. It's not just about keeping your eyes moist or avoiding dust. Nope. It's a lightning-fast defense mechanism that your brain invented long before you had the luxury of contact lenses. Picture this: a tiny bug or a sudden gust of wind zooming toward your eyeball at what feels like the speed of sound. You don't have time to say ouch before your eyelids slam shut like a steel trap. This blink reflex happens in under 300 milliseconds, faster than you can consciously react, because your brain refuses to let anything mess with the windows to your soul. What's fascinating is that this reflex doesn't just protect your eyes physically, it also helps your brain stay alert by momentarily blocking out distractions. Scientists call it a reset button for your brain's visual input. When you blink, your brain briefly cuts visual information, so it can clean up any blurry or distracting images and give you a sharper picture right after. Here's the creepy twist. The blink reflex can be triggered by threats that aren't even real. Just the anticipation of something flying at your face can make your eyes snap shut. Your brain is basically training you to expect the worst at all times. Because, hey, survival is not about chilling. So next time you blink, remember, you're performing a mini self-defense move that's been honed over millions of years to keep your eyeballs safe from doom and gloom, and maybe also from your friend's questionable aim when throwing popcorn. Ever had your leg suddenly jerk while you're falling asleep? Like your body decides to throw a mini surprise party at the worst possible moment? That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's a weird, borderline creepy reflex that might just be your body's way of double-checking you're not dead. Here's the story. As you drift off to sleep, your brain waves slow down, and your muscles relax. But sometimes, the brain gets confused and mistakes the relaxation for falling, or worse, dying. To prevent the fall, it sends a quick jolt through your muscles, making you twitch awake for a split second. Scientists believe this reflex dates back to our tree-dwelling ancestors who needed to make sure they didn't plummet out of the branches while snoozing. The brain's safety net basically saying, hey, hold up, don't fall out of the tree or you're toast. What's extra creepy is that the twitch sometimes comes with a vivid sensation of falling, or even a brief hallucination. Your brain is basically mixing sleep paralysis, reality, and a mini heart attack all into one weird neurological cocktail. On the bright side, these jerks are harmless, and actually a sign your nervous system is working fine, albeit a little overdramatic. So next time your leg betrays you in bed, just blame evolution's overprotective nature and get back to snoozing. You might think a sneeze is just your body's polite way of ejecting annoying dust from your nose. But nah, it's way weirder, and honestly, a little terrifying. Imagine your nasal passages as tiny rocket launch pads. When your body decides it's time to sneeze, it sends a rapid-fire signal to your diaphragm and throat muscles, forcing out air and mucus at speeds up to 100 miles per hour. That's faster than a cheetah chasing its lunch. What's creepier? Your brain actually shuts down your breathing and your vocal cords for a split second, so the sneeze can blast out unfiltered. Your eyes close reflexively too, because apparently your body thinks your eyeballs might pop out otherwise, like some cartoon character. Spoiler, they won't, but thanks for the drama, brain. Sneezing is also weirdly contagious, just like yawning. See someone else sneeze, and suddenly you feel the urge too. Scientists suspect this is an evolutionary way to warn others of potential airborne pathogens, a sneaky social heads up before the plague spreads. Here's a fun fact. Some people are so sensitive to sunlight that they sneeze when stepping out.